You've been in Keller Williams leadership for 10 plus years?
Yeah, I've been an agent for 11 years, and 9.5 years of those have been in a leadership capacity.
You decided you were going to leave Keller Williams, and you came and you approached me about coming and joining over here.
I think KW is a great place for so many people, and it was no longer that place for me.
Hey, thanks for joining us today. Oh my gosh, we have some amazing news to share. I can't wait. I'm a little excited.
I'm excited too.
I'm Deborah Bly with the Bly Team, and this is
Kevin Jones. Also with the Bly Team.
Oh, also with the Bly Team. Gosh, you let it out real quick. Okay. I was gonna let him have him hang for a minute, but so. Kevin being with the Bly Team, I have to say I'm really proud. So Kevin, you have been Keller Williams. You've been in Keller Williams leadership for 10 plus years?
Yeah, I've been an agent for 11 years, and 9.5 years of those have been in a leadership capacity in one way or another. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think so. Tell us something about. I've got notes here. First of all, so I can remember Kevin's name. Just kidding.
I'm gonna get a neck tattoo so you remember.
They all joke me around the office about getting people's names mixed up. I did the same with my kids. But anyway, Kevin, share a little bit about like your little journey with. I mean, first of all, how did you become an agent? Why did you become an agent?
It was interesting. I was a school teacher, and I'm a musician, and I've done a lot of things with music, but I was a music teacher, and in my mind, I was like, I'm really tired of living paycheck to paycheck, and I need something more, maybe a summer job. It was May of 2015, and almost on a whim, I'm driving home on Friday afternoon, and I think, how about real estate? I'll do that. And got on the phone, called my uncle who was also in real estate, and he connected me with an office. And that weekend I did real estate school. It was like literally within 7 days, I was all done with real estate school. And not that I recommend doing it that fast, but.
Yeah, well, I tell you, that's interesting to know too, because I really do think the barrier to entry, I'm glad you're here. I really do think our bar for the barrier to entry is really low. If you look at cosmetology school, because we were looking, I probably don't say it right, cosmetology school.
Cosmetology.
Yes. Cosmetology. If you look at cosmetology school, you go for 1,000 hours, and then you have to pass the state board
and you're supervised for all of that as well.
To cut somebody's hair.
Yeah.
And real estate, I mean, I think it's a little bit bigger deal as far as working with the money and the investment and all the intricacies that happen in real estate.
For sure. And
the barrier to entry is, I mean, I think is it still 180 hours?
It might be, but I don't think it doesn't take that long to do it, because now you can do correspondence, you can do it online, you could breeze through it. So that's what I did. That's what I did. Yeah. I learned quickly that everything that you need to know about being successful in real estate has very little to do with getting licensed.
It has nothing to do with getting licensed, right?
I learned how to log in to the website. That's what I learned. Yeah. I was sitting in a class, and my license came over in Trek, and I texted some friends, like 3 friends, and I said, hey, I'm supposed to be making phone calls. Would someone answer the phone so I'm not embarrassed? And of those 3 friends, I helped 2. One sold and bought a house like that month, and the other one bought their very first home. So
you had told me the story about the first home that you had that went under contract.
Oh, yes. So I did the listing, and I I didn't know. I didn't know. You don't know what you don't know. And
no, not after a weekend of classes. You don't.
And I also thought that taking all of listing pictures with my iPhone was a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
And I've only done it once, and it was that time. So I put the house on the market. Everything's great. And I get an offer, full price offer. And I'm looking at this offer, and the only thing that I can think about is I must take this to the courthouse. That's the next logical thing, right? They have to do title. I did not know what a title company was. I did not understand the process. And I felt like, those people in those flying squirrel suits who jump off the mountain and like, you don't know where you're going to land, but they're confident they're going to land on their feet. And I had a lot of confidence. And thankfully there were people around me at that time that like took me by the hand and helped.
I think you had one of the title companies reach out, and they were really helpful to you, right?
Yes, she was like, here, I've got this contract. Go get another one, which I did.
Yeah.
But they, at the very beginning, just a few weeks into the business, a rep at a title company sat me down, walked me through the entire process, and it was like, okay, now I know. And it was this like unconscious incompetence. I didn't know what I didn't know. And then all of a sudden my eyes were open. Okay, there's a whole lot more here.
Yeah. So what'd you do after that?
I went back to teaching. I had over the summer, I lead generated all summer, and then I actually changed schools. So I was teaching at one school, and I was then moved to a different school. And at the time, it was kind of annoying until I realized I just doubled my sphere of influence. Yeah. And that first year, I taught school, and in the classroom, I'm not recommending this, I gave my students a lesson that they had to watch, and I sat in the back of my computer and I lead generated. I texted, I sent emails, I did social media for 10 minutes every hour of the day as I had a class come in. And I remember it was April of that year. I was the bathroom monitor for state testing. And as I'm monitoring bathroom, a client reaches out and they're like, hey, we have this house we're going to go look at in a new community. And I pulled it up. It's like a 5%, BTSA. But I couldn't go with them because I was teaching. And it was at that moment I realized I'm about to miss out on almost $40,000 in commission, which is $2,000 less than what I was making at the time.
For a year's worth of work.
For a year's worth of work as a teacher. Yeah. So I did what anyone would do. I went up to the office and I told them I'm having a family emergency and I have to leave right now. And that's when I realized, okay, I am throwing money away.
Well, I think two things. I think, and so I think a lot of people get into it, kind of like you did. They think, oh, I'm going to sell a deal here or there, and it's going to be great, right? But obviously, there's a whole lot more to it. But by trying to do both things, you really couldn't focus on. I mean, I think at some point, obviously, you realized you had to make a decision. Were you going to focus on teaching? Or were you going to focus on real estate?
And that the decision, it wasn't, it was obvious that real estate was the direction I needed to go in. And if I was going to do it, I was going to only do it. And I needed to know how the best agents did it, how to create a business. I didn't know how to do that, but I knew that if I was going into real estate, I was going to do it the right way.
Yeah. So you hired a coach?
I hired a coach. And
so you invest. What an interesting thought. He invested in himself.
Oh, okay. It was a game changer. My very first coach changed my life. Because up to that point, everything was kind of coming to me, and it was a good year, 2015, 2016. Those were good years. The fish were jumping in the boat, and I was taking business all the time. And I talked with my coach, and we set a goal. My goal was 5 listings every week. 5 listings every week. And I've never taken 5 listings in every week until at that point, However, my coach held me accountable to the goal. Mm. So my very second week on the call, I'm super excited. I had taken 3 listings. And I get on the call and I tell him, and he just listened. He said, "What happened to the 2 listings you didn't take?" And I was like, "Jerk." And he's like, well, you said 5 was your goal and you only took 3. So was that goal important or not? So get off the call. I'm working. I took 4 listings. I had never taken 3 listings in 1 week. Yeah. And now I had taken 4 listings in a week. And guess what my coach says?
What happened to the one?
What happened to the one you didn't take? And now I'm realizing I'm paying this guy $1,000 a month for this type of abuse. Week 3, I get on the call. Coach, I took 6 listings this week. Mm-hmm. He listens. Well, obviously your goals are too low.
Okay. I had better experiences with my coaches,
but you know what? I was forced to develop a system and a plan and a follow through. And I had never held myself to that standard because no one else had ever had that type of expectation for me.
Yeah.
And it was almost like someone telling me, I'm giving you permission to be successful.
Yeah. So you hired a coach. Obviously, you did fairly good your first year. Mm-hmm. And from there, I mean, I have it here. So you were an agent. Then you built out a team.
I built out a sales team.
You became a team leader.
And I started as a team leader in that Keller Williams office. Mm-hmm. And I had a lot of success recruiting. Mm-hmm. I had a great first year.
Well, you were certainly a good example to most, right?
It was not come do this. It wasn't theory. It's like, look what I've done. Mm-hmm. And let me, come alongside me. So I would say within my first 24 months of getting my license, my team was 90% autonomous. They were operating, and then I was, running the office. And then I moved into a coaching position with KW because I had great success as a leader and recruiting and growing and building profitability in the company. Then I started coaching other leaders across the country, which was way, it's eye-opening as a coach because you're learning from the people you're coaching just as much as they're learning from you. So, and then it just kind of evolved. I became an investor in one office. I was able to be operating principal in 2 offices locally, which turned into, opportunities in Florida and then, expanding.
So at one point in time you had, so you were a majority stockholder?
I was majority in one office and an investor in 2 other offices. Mm-hmm. And then, in process of opening, there were other endeavors.
I mean, for 10 short years, that's pretty impressive.
It was fun.
Yeah,
it was fun. And what I learned in that season, it was kind of like when I got that month where I had two paychecks from real estate. I realized when I work harder, I can make more money. Because as a teacher, you can work as hard as you want and make the same amount.
It's unfortunate, really.
It is. Mm-hmm. It is. I realized that there are multiple opportunities within this industry. And I think also a lesson I learned is not every opportunity that presents itself is a good opportunity.
Boy, don't we know it.
And I think, we experience, especially failure, is one of the best teachers. And
it's one of the more painful paths.
It hurts. How it's like, it's painful, and depending on where you go with that, it can be very rewarding especially when you don't make those same mistakes again. Yeah. So I've kind of gone from a season of doing everything and then realize.
So tell me a little bit, like, what are the things that you learned when you were at Keller Williams?
Everything. I mean, KW is known for training. I learned how to run a business. Mm-hmm. I learned what not to do just as much as I learned what to do. Mm-hmm. I understood the language of sales and coaching, and there's a lot of mindset, because sometimes we can get in our own head. And I remember at the beginning, everything mindset, that's just kind of fluff, until I realized really we're our own worst enemy. And it's a conversation I have with agents all the time. It's not that people don't know what they need to do. It's they simply don't take action. And reframing your mindset is so important.
To be an action taker.
Absolutely. And if you would have said that to me 10 years ago, I would have probably just said, you're just full of it. Just get your butt to work and go work through it. So understanding your motivation, your big why, what's driving you. And
what do you think drives you?
I think it changes. It changes. I am driven by a couple of things. I'm driven to help people and to pour into others who want to be poured into.
So, okay, at some point in time, I think you've had an amazing career so far, but at some point in time, you decided you were going to leave Keller Williams, and you came and you approached me about coming and joining over here. So obviously you'd been pretty successful. Mm-hmm. As of about an hour ago, still a stockholder there with majority shares, and you left that all behind to come over here and join us. Why? What was broken?
It's hard to say. Was something broken, or was it me? Maybe I think I think KW is a great place for so many people, and it was no longer that place for me. At KW, I was pouring into agents. I was a match coach. I was a bold coach. I was. You
were coaching tens of thousands of agents, because you were actually training and teaching around the nation, right?
I was going to different offices, and it's something that's fulfilling. I love doing that. And at some point, if you were to look at my LinkedIn, you couldn't figure out what I was. What did I do? Because I had so many different roles that so many different hats. And it became to a point where the only way to, make more money for my family was taking on another hat or another thing. And when you do that, you're like
fragmented.
Yeah. You have experience doing all of these things, but it's very difficult to focus. Yeah. And if I'm putting all my attention over here, I'm inevitably neglecting something else. And then I'm constantly in this rat race of going from here to here, from this job, and it wasn't good for me. It wasn't good for my family. And it wasn't the best for the people that were in those organizations, because they deserve a leader who's able to hone in and focus and lead. Yeah. So I've taken time, I've stepped back and had a season of just evaluating what do I want to do. And, I've done some teaching, and it's been a refreshing season to get back to, what I call my big why, my family, my wife and kids. But moreover, it's been a time for me to really identify which avenue I'm going to take in this industry. Am I going to do everything, or am I going to focus in one space that's going to see the most growth and success? And ultimately, that's the decision.
Oh, I think also in talking to you, not just growth and success, but honestly, fulfilling really more aligned with your heart and your passion, right? Because I know you. I mean, you're a teacher by heart. You're always going to be a teacher. I know you love to teach, right?
Yes.
But I also know that you were very unfulfilled in that position because
it was pulling me in too many directions.
Well, that, and I mean, like we discuss all the time, because you mentioned, I recruited, however many agents. It's like, well, I mean, that's great and well. But when you look at our national statistics, 71% of the licensed agents out there have never sold a home. And so you're pouring into all of these people.
Yeah.
And if you're pouring into people like that over and over and over again, they're not getting results, for whatever reasons, that is, right?
And times that I would, I'd come into a city, teach, pour my heart out, and then I'd be gone. And I never knew if what I planted ever took root. And in my experience, agents come and they go. There's so much attrition in this industry.
Well, I think there's so much attrition because, first of all, like we discussed, it's just so easy to get your license. And everybody thinks it's going to be fun. It is fun. It's fun, I think, if you have a passion for it. But if you don't have a passion, like we were talking, Tony Robbins, he talks about the 6 core human needs, right? So certainty, uncertainty or variety, significance, love and connection, and then there's growth. I think you definitely align with that growth, human need, and then as well as contribution. I know for myself personally, like if you had to ask me of the 6 human needs that he spells out, contribution is probably my number one. Yours, I would say it's either going to be growth or it's going to be contribution, but I think they're probably neck and neck, right?
And they're, in my mind, they're so intertwined. The more I develop as a leader, as a business person, as an agent, the more the more I grow, the more I can help others. Yeah. And I always think, whenever I'm in an interaction with an agent or teaching a class, I'm like, what are you taking away from this that is going to help you move forward?
Yeah.
And if I was just teaching just to teach, that would be one thing. But I want to be engaged and pouring into people who are hungry.
And I mean, I've certainly been in that place where, it's like, oh my gosh, you want to be an agent and come join my team? Hallelujah.
Yeah.
And they come here and, like real estate isn't, and I'm not saying they're bad people, but real estate isn't for everybody. If you don't get your fulfillment from contribution, because I think real estate, whether you're helping an agent grow or whether you're helping that client through the whole process, if you don't get your fulfillment from that contribution, I don't think real estate is really, because there's like it's a lot.
And a consumer knows. Our clients know if you are there to help them or make a buck.
Yeah.
And I mean, they can smell it. And they're not going to call you and
you may have initially gotten involved because you were thinking, okay, I want to make a buck. But if you're like me, once you did, like, I'll never forget my first deal either. Like the amount of joy and fulfillment I had from that whole experience, like I would have paid to have it, let alone get paid to do it. Right.
I got paid to help these people do something, and it went right for them. And I just getting to be a part of it. Yes, we need to pay the bills, money, but also money is only good for the good it can do.
So after you took your little period of time to just kind of think things through, etc., you came and knocked on my door.
I actually just showed up one day,
but I wasn't in town. And I got back from town and I saw your business card there and I thought, interesting.
What's he doing? Did you think I was trying to recruit you?
No, I didn't think you were. You'd already tried that.
I'd already tried that for years.
You'd already tried that. And I mean, I would have liked the company I would have kept, but it was just not the model for what
Right.
what I've been building all these years, right?
And I think, well,
And I say that's really, I hate that word I. It's really not the model we've been building because it has not been me. It has been with like the support of our transaction coordinators, our operators, our Connor, our marketing person, so and that is the joy of it. It's not something I'm building. It's something like we're all building it together. But anyway, I'm talking about me. Let's talk about, so what had you come and talk to me? Because I don't think you went and talked to anybody else.
I didn't speak to anyone else. I didn't talk to any other companies or any other teams. And in all transparency, it was not so much about the brand as it was about you and what you've built here. And it's almost in my mind like it's blasphemous to talk about because I've been, recruiting with KW for so long.
Yeah.
And I had it in my mind, and I'm not saying everyone is like that, but there's one way to grow a team. There was one way to operate a business. And I think I was so close-minded for so long. I thought I was the only one with the right way to do things.
Mm-hmm.
And through this last year, I realized maybe I don't know everything. Maybe everything I'm doing isn't the only way of doing it, because people doing it that way are certainly successful. So a couple things brought me here. It's local. This is, my community.
Your people.
These are my people. Like my clients, my church family, my kids, their schools, everything is right here. And I spent a lot of time getting on a national stage, but nobody around me that actually mattered knew. And if they knew, they didn't care. It didn't matter. And what I've learned is sometimes when you make a statement on a national stage, you can be famous instantly, and you can be
unfamous instantly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, okay, aside from being local, there's quite a few offices around here that are very local.
There are. To look at the real estate market and what is happening, I think it's important to keep an eye on the people who are constant, who are growing, and continue to succeed no matter what the market is doing. And there might not even be a handful of large teams in this area that could say that it is their truth. And in my attempt over the years to recruit you, I knew so much more about, I'm stalking you all the time. I'm looking at numbers and listings and agents. And I even called some of your agents and people before you and I had our official meeting to see if I was crazy, or if what I thought was, the Deborah I thought was the Deborah that you are. And everyone said such amazing things about you and your business that I felt like that is someone who's doing it right. And what's right for you might not be the same right for someone else, but you are doing it right because
it was the right that aligned with what you were looking for.
So I came to meet with you probably later than I should have.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the reason I didn't was pride.
I can understand that.
It's like, oh, I've done this and I've been here and I've done these things. But at the end of the day, what do I have to show for it? Like, how is that serving me now? So, I was on a mission to find my next opportunity and, see, okay, what's next? I've experienced these things. I've grown. I have this skill set. And for one reason or another, the doors that I wanted to open were locked. And so then I walked in here after thinking about it over and over and over. And the first conversation you and I had was not a get to know you conversation. It was an empire building conversation. It was look how we're doing this. Look how can we work together? It was like we've been having this conversation together for so long, but we are having it by ourselves. So I think that initial, it was magnetic.
Well, and I think too, what was good about the conversation to me, the part that I liked is, honestly, for me, this is just me. I'm in a different stage of my life, so that might be why. I'm not really necessarily I'm definitely very growth-minded, like I'm competitive as can be. But more than, building an empire, like I really, and I feel like that's where the success has come from. A lot of people in my position probably don't do transactions anymore. I would go home and cry if I couldn't do transactions anymore, because I love the helping people. And these are, whether they be buyers or sellers or whatever. But the other part that I have really enjoyed, and that's why I think we have been growing, is I love to see an agent come on here that has had virtually nothing and then see them grow and blossom into there is little that is so fulfilling as seeing that happen. And to know that you're a part of these things that matter to other people in their lives.
Right. What excited me about that was the chance to take what I've been doing and training and coaching to the masses and bring it here to the agents, where I can sit down with them and not just teach them, here, do this with your business or do this with your database, but let me sit down with you and let's make this happen. At the end of this conversation, it's going to be a well-oiled machine.
It may not be that easy.
It may not be, and it never is. However, they're raising their hand.
Yeah.
They want to grow. They want those tools. And again, I'm not doing it just in theory. We're doing it practically. And that's one of the things I'm most excited about bringing to the team. We're not starting over. We're not fixing something that's broken.
No.
We are moving.
We have, I think we have a pretty amazing operation here. And like everything else, it's always the work in progress. And every time you work on it, it just gets better and better and better. And I'm like, the team knows me, and I'm sure my clients, it's like, oh, you're on vacation again. It's like, no, when I'm gone for 4 weeks in a row at a conference or convention, it's not because I'm on vacation. It's because I want to bring things back that improve the client experience or improve the agent experience. If the agent experience is good, then the client experience is good. Because I don't just care about the clients that I touch and I'm involved with. I care about the clients or agents or, that are touch and are involved with, right? So I also know when you first came here, of course, you could proudly say how many agents you recruited. And my answer to that is, well, it could be hundreds. Maybe 10 of them are good for our team. Because I really am, and I think we really are, we're aligned with, we're not just looking for bodies on a team. We're really looking for people that want to take care of the client, that want to make a good life for themselves and their families. And I think the way you do that is you really, truly have that fulfilling heart of taking care of the client, because you take care of the client and everything else comes right.
It's not, and I've lived in that world where you have a pulse, come on, and then you spend hours and hours and hours pouring in and providing opportunity for people who simply don't take advantage of it for whatever reason.
Well, and maybe that's because it's like telling an accountant he has to become a comedian. Like you're kind of either the fit and you have the heart and the passion for it, because I really believe you do have to have the heart and passion for it, because It is a lot.
Yeah.
As you know.
Because that's what's going to be taking you from week to week when there's no money in the bank. Like that drive, that passion, knowing. And another thing I see, and it continues, that when you get in your real estate license, you have to be an expert negotiator. You have to know contracts inside out and out. You have to be a social media influencer. You have to know everything about technology.
You have to know about that inspection report and what the heck is a soffit and what the heck is a GFCI and what does that really mean? Does that mean the house is going to? I mean, you really do have to become.
And then you have to be able to communicate that. And so when agents come on and they're like, "I want to go sell houses and make money," I'm like, "You have just taken a job that will literally take 10 employees to do, and we're going to make one person do it all."
Yeah.
And just walking in this building and seeing how the team operates and they all support each other, it's beautiful. Because it's like a whole system. It's like a whole body.
Thank you.
And for if I were starting from scratch as a brand new agent, that is the environment I would want to be in.
Well, let me tell you, if I was to move to New York City tomorrow, I would look for a team that had these things, because I am never starting from scratch again. It has been
right.
It has been a lot.
And maybe it's selfish, but I saw what you had built, and I wanted to be a part of that.
I love that.
And could I go back and start a team all over again and start from scratch? Yeah. But it would take time, and it would take years.
It's not only that, it's, the real joy is it's fun doing it together. And I think that's a lot of what had me even branch out in team, like we were teams before teams were a thing, right? Because it's fun doing it together with other people.
Yeah.
At least that's how I'm wired.
We've been working in the office last week, and and when I say working in the office, we are in the same room, so I hear her conversations, she hears mine.
If I sneeze, I better cover up.
and we could just, there's something about that energy, being able to just focus in and then pop questions back and forth and just keep going. And then, my sign, I put on my headphones with they're not electric. They're just to do my own thing. But there's something about that camaraderie, and you can't be fake. You can't be fake. This is who I am. This is who you are. And I think there's no better way to get to know someone than sit in the office with them all day long.
Yeah.
And so I hear how you interact with your leaders and your staff. I hear the conversations you have with your clients on the phone, and it's refreshing, because you're pouring into people the way I want to pour into people.
Yes.
And it's not all right, here, listen, do this. No, you're like, here, sit in the desk next to me and let's do this together. It's that servant leadership that's sadly not as, it's just not as prevalent in the industry as it needs to be.
Yeah. Well, I have to tell you, I am super excited. We didn't follow any of the notes, by the way. I'm just messing. I'm just messing. I'm super, super, super excited about you being here. And, I always say this to every agent that comes here. I want you to know, when you come here and you join us, this is not what we can do for you. We're in a partnership.
Yeah.
I'm going to do everything to fulfill my part of the partnership. And these are the items that I'm going to do. I'm going to give my heart and soul to providing this part of our partnership. Yeah. In addition, a partnership is where you're also giving back. Yeah. So I'm super excited to have you here in the office, in the partnership with all of us.
I'm super excited.
And, so we're just going to end up with, so in the partnership, the things that we've been talking about doing, how do you see fulfilling your spot in your role?
Oh gosh. For me, I get to, I get to take advantage of what you've established.
Mm-hmm.
And we each get to use our strengths.
Yeah.
And I feel like even in teaching a class, it's like we didn't have to prep for that. It's like we knew how that synergy was there. I'm looking forward to that and helping establish like consistent, predictable business in a way that we can provide that value for other agents.
But yeah, that's what I'm excited about, because I feel like they come here, they've entrusted that we're going to have a system and a process, and we're going to be there for, they have to do their part.
Right.
But I take it on as a very, hard in my heart, hard on my chest responsibility.
Right.
When I have an agent and I see that they're struggling, we're trying to figure out, okay, so I can see your heart is in there. I see your commitment. So what's the missing part? So I think having somebody else on board that can help me.
It just increases our value proposition.
And increases our value, but more important, just like, there's a consumer out there that needs to be helped.
Right.
There's the agent that needs to be trained and taught how to do that. And
right.
That's a lot.
Ultimately helping the consumer, buyers and sellers. That's isn't by ensuring that the agents we're aligned with have every possible resource to be the absolute best agent.
Right. Agree. I appreciate it. I am so excited. So the cat's out of the bag. Kevin, super proud and super thrilled to see what the future is for the team, for the agents, for staff. I know you have already we're buzzing a cajillion ideas. We're honing it down to 2 or 3 at a time of just all the wonderful, great things here that you have to bring to help support what we're growing here in the office. Really excited.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate the trust.
I appreciate your trust.
So, Deborah Bly, if you have any questions, I hope you enjoyed. If you want to pop into the office sometime and meet Kevin, I'm sure he'd be glad to meet you.
Absolutely.
Whether you already know him or whether you're one of his friends, chances are if you pop into the office, you're going to see him. Take care.